Hello there, you're listening and watching to another Scoutcast on www.fantasyfootballscout.co.uk, and my name is Mark.
My name's Jonty.
My name's Andy.
And my name's Az.
Good evening. I got the right amount of W's in the address there, you noticed. Been practicing that all week and it's paid off. You will have noticed there is a new face amongst us. That new face is AZ or Chaz or Az or whatever we want to call him tonight. Welcome to the Scoutcast. For your debut, Mr. AZ.
Thank you very much. Great to finally be on.
Yes, and you bring with you a Cantona image. Very good in the background there. It's now customary to have a football image in the background. Don't know what Jonty's up to. And you've got Jane along there as always. Jonty, sort it out, please. Can we not get some kind of football imagery in the background?
No, I've just got the nice lamp.
Yeah, it's very IKEA, but
yeah.
See, me and Granville got the Lowry going on in the background there. I noticed. Nice. Granville not with us tonight. He's not with us tonight. You've got a theory, Jonty, haven't you? Why he's not?
Well, no. I mean, he did get a really bad score, and so couldn't make it. But genuinely, he does have a political meeting to attend. Genuinely, and it's not an excuse.
See, even Chaz is doubting that, and he's getting all cocky on his debut. No, he had a bad game week. We're going to look at our game weeks first and foremost. Look at our game weeks. And is that a motorbike past your window, Jonty? Or is that...
It was, yeah.
I thought you lived in the middle of the country. I thought you lived in.
I do. Well, we have combustion engines and various vehicles that aren't tractors.
Motorcycle emptiness going on there.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, we're going to talk about our game. We're going to talk about Sanchez as well. There was a little error, I think. I can't. Yeah, we need to go over that. I think some. Yeah.
Not me.
No, fair enough, Chaz. Yeah, he's very cocky. He's getting very cocky already, isn't he? Yeah, I know. We'll talk about your game week in a minute, AZ. We've got Rougher the Smooth, of course. Sanchez, we're going to talk about an awful lot. We're going to talk third strikers. We've got to talk about the Aguero situation. I still can't quite believe it. Birth of the super teams. This is a Jonty theory, but bear with us. There might be something in it. And then we're going to have lots of puns about Firmino and Emre Can. They're not very good, but we'll try. And then we've got the game week preview, as always. We've got a midweek game week as well, which maybe we should touch on that as well. But we'll do our best. Lot to get through. Let's crack on. Let's review our game weeks. We start at the top. And unfortunately, there is only one place to start. We didn't realise this when we invited him in. AZ, 89 points with a hit. Talk us through it very, very quickly. Let's not dwell on it.
Yeah, well, it's not been a good year for me either. Well,
that makes me feel better.
Yeah, so it's about time I had a bit of luck. Kept Sanchez, didn't I, through his rough games. Paid off. Didn't captain him last week. Thought definitely captain him this week. So that went well. Got Costa in a couple of weeks ago for Lukaku. He's been doing great for me. And Ali came in as well, which was nice. Although I probably should have got Ericsson in hindsight. And what can I say about Matty Phillips? What a player. 5.1 million I paid for him. And he is just smashing it every week. He's averaging 10 points a game over the last 4 weeks.
Yeah, he's surprised. I mean, the thing is, he did this with QPR, didn't he? He did it in the QPR team, in a bad team. I think he got eight assists in the last 11 games or something very, very silly like that. But I'm surprised in that West Brom team that he's found a way.
I know.
Tony Pulis is desperately trying to get the team to retreat back into the 6-yard box as much as they can, and Phillips is just ignoring that and getting assists and goals.
They're scoring goals though. I've never seen a Pulis team like it. They're just every week they look so menacing whenever their players go up front. And Phillips's goal was just brilliant.
Menacing is not a word we normally associate with Tony's team, apart from at set pieces, of course. But yes, incredible, decent game week. And what was the hit for?
Well, I bought Ali in for Coutinho, and I had to get rid of Fuchs because he's just been a nightmare.
Well, I'm blaming Jonty for that. He was a big Fuchs fan.
I know. So I bought in Van Dijk, and I probably should have just got Cedric. Because now I can't afford Alonso now if I get...
Okay. Oh, no Alonso, that makes you feel better as well. Jonty, you haven't apologised for Fuchs, but I guess you're going to do that in the process of explaining your game week. 75 points, not bad at all?
Yeah, it was pretty good, actually. I've I got Kane the week before and captained him. So that went well. I got 75 but minus 4, so 71. So it was pretty good in the end. But even Johnny Evans scored for me, which was so I was there for Johnny Evans' only goal, which is something quite amazing. And Christian Benteke as well, which was
came good, didn't he? Yeah,
so he's good. So clung on to him, so that was good. All in all, really good game. I mean, obviously, it's a long road back for me, so I'm not getting too overly excited. But it was nice to get some goals from Christian Benteke in particular.
No, fair enough. And Andy, have you got Brunt in your team? You have, haven't you?
I do, yeah. Absolutely loving him this week. It was actually quite funny. I was at my son's football training while the games were on every Saturday, and I saw someone mention him. And I was chatting to one of the other parents, and she actually said to me at one point, "Am I disturbing you?" Because I was just constantly on Twitter while she was chatting to me, just checking to see if Brunt had any more.
That's totally acceptable behaviour.
I know. Well, I did try and tell her. I said, "Look, I'm just a bit obsessed by football and fantasy football," and she seemed to get on all right with it.
But yeah, why are you shaking her head?
Yeah, she did actually leave a few minutes later. A coincidence, I think.
Well, you don't need that kind of conversation anyway. You don't need any conversation at all when Chris Brunt's delivering points, double figures. We did. I mean, we saw it coming. We knew it was going to happen. He was going to have one game. I just wonder with the fixtures whether we can keep it up. That's the thing. It's not right. McCauley's not getting anything, and Brunt and Evans delivering. Not right.
Well, the funny thing was, I looked at it Saturday morning and thought maybe I should have gone McCauley. At the time, he was cheaper, got the goal. But obviously, he delivered. I don't know, he's still cheap enough where I don't feel like I have to play him every week, so I can rotate him a bit, and my defence is all right for that. So, he's got a decent home fixture the week after.
He's taken the set piece as well, isn't he, off Phillips? Yeah. So that's a bit of a...
They're sharing them, aren't they? They're sharing them.
Corners, Brunt, I think, is on, isn't he?
No, it's 50-50.
Is it 50-50? Oh, that makes it feel a bit better. That's good.
No, you're all right. You're all right, Chaz. You'll be fine. You'll get your 5.1's worth, don't worry. So look who came bottom of the game week pile. It's myself. I wish Granville was here at times like this. 61 points. Yeah, well, I don't know. It was my birthday, wasn't it, right? Okay, so I was out. I had the day off. Like, I tried to not do anything about football. I tried not to think about football at all. Obviously, that's nonsense. I was thinking about it all the time, and willing Kane to get a hat trick. And of course, Aguero got sent off in the early kickoff. And once that happened, that was the day ruined. Family get together was abandoned to look into that and the 4-match ban and everything. And from that point, I was a bit skew whiff. But then Kane delivered, got me 2 goals. I was winning the hat trick, didn't arrive. I was very, very happy at around 10-5, and then. Going into the 5:30 game, I got home from the family celebrations to watch the match in anticipation of Walcott delivering me points, and it was a horror show, wasn't it, for non-Sanchez owners? It was a complete
opposite for me because I didn't have Kane, so
right.
I watched him score those goals. I just thought that's me finished this week, and then Sanchez
it turned around, didn't it? Yeah, I mean, to have him captain as well. I mean, to be honest, if I didn't have Kane and I had Sanchez, it absolutely would have been the second shot, no doubt about it. So in a way, I think I got away with it because it could have been disastrous for me had I not had Kane. Had I not captained Kane, I would have been on something like, obviously late 30s. So I'd have been miles behind. The Sanchez haul is just one of those weekends, one of those game weeks that happens. It's like the Aguero game week 8 situation, and people missed out on that. Sanchez's ownership was around 24%, I believe, at the time. So it had a big impact, but not as big as that Aguero game week 8 haul in previous seasons. So I think I got away with it. I went down 20-odd thousand places. I'm still 50,000 something. I'm all right. I've hung on. But that was a stormy day, and it wasn't pleasant for my birthday. I was very, very miserable from that point on. My partner doesn't quite know what to attribute that to. I think I fobbed it off. I didn't, of course, tell her it was down to the Aguero hat-trick in the late kickoff on Saturday. If I had have told her that, I don't think I would be getting birthday presents for the next 3 or 4 years. I just hope she doesn't listen to this show. I'm sure she doesn't. Not many people do. So, yes, that's the story of my gaming. It's miserable. John T, we lost you there. Did you just...
Yeah, my as I was talking about my team, my computer froze completely and covered all my notes. And so I was winging it for a bit. And I just thought, I think Andy and Mark will talk about our team in a minute. So I'll turn it off and turn it on
You
again.
can always rely on us to waffle along while you reset your machine. Are you noteless now? Are you flying?
No, I'm fine. I'm all fine now.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, not bad. We'd be in trouble without that goals imminent table, wouldn't we, Andy? That would be terrible.
Yeah, I need that.
Got to make an appearance.
Be a shocker. Okay, let's talk about the communities game weeks. We have got some notable stories of Rough with a Smooth, have we, Johnson?
We do. Yeah, I'll start with some roughs first. We've got the Overthinker. He captained Firmino.
I like that. Overthinker, very good. Is he?
He overthought that one, despite having Sanchez in his team. McQueen spent a hit to remove Benteke for Austin, so that didn't go well.
I can see that. To be fair, I can see why he did Southampton at home.
Well, I think it was. Yeah, no, I think it was because he'd done so well the week before. That I think it was clear, and I thought it was a make or break game for Palace and Pardew in particular. So, and Gangdu Lawal, he captained Austin, and but he left Evans on the bench, so he missed.
Home to Watford.
I mean, people like Az can say I was there and captained Sanchez for his hat trick, but I can say I had Evans in my team. But Gangdu Lawal can't.
So that's I want to know what his defence was to leave Evans on the bench at home to Watford.
Well, it must be. Well, to be fair, there's lots of people with better teams than us who can probably afford to do that.
It's all about these moments, isn't it, John T?
It's all about these moments, exactly. I've always got the Johnny Evans moment. But and on to some smooths.
Are you putting that down as a moment, by the way?
That is a moment. That's the moment. What are you talking about? That's my only moment.
Better than that for you. Go on.
Carlton, this is the smooths now. So Carlton Dzingari.
Well done.
He got 110 points. He's now top of my Millionaires League, which I set up for people like me who have a terrible rank.
Support group it is. It's very effective.
He's up to 400,000 in the rankings. That's 1 million above what he was in game week 12. He brought in Kane and Ericsson for a hit this week. Hits do work. He captained Kane, but he already had Sanchez on his side. So that was a great. That's a season changing.
I can't believe he had Sanchez in. We told the world to get rid of him, and he didn't take notice.
Geo4 change was even smoother. Really, he bought in Sanchez and Kane for Coutinho and Aguero.
Another one who ignored our advice.
And the net gain was somewhere around 50 points, and he captained Kane with that. And this one's a great one. It's a chap called Connor Kelly. He's 750. He's now got 86. He's gone up to 757 in the world. Captain Costa, pretty good. He even had Andy Carroll on his side. Okay?
Whoa!
And he had Sanchez on his side as well, Hazard. Leighton Baines scored for him as well. Why are we mentioning him? Well, he's made absolutely no transfers. He's a dead team. He hasn't touched his team since game week 1. He hasn't made a single move.
He ended up with Andy Carroll.
He's captain Diego Costa every week. He's just left the captaincy on him. Costa's delivered every week bar 2.
What's his rank, Darren?
His rank is 757 in the world. So I was talking last week about ghost teams shaking their skeletal fists at me as they pass me.
This one's out of sight.
This one here, this guy here, Connor Kelly, he's a ghost team. And
let's have a look. Let's have a closer look. He's got Sir Leighton in there, which only just now is paying off.
He's had Cahill, who's been delivering.
Reed from the start is a good call.
Yeah, Winston Reid, all those Winston Reid goals he's been getting. Hugo Lloris in goal, so he's been getting a few Spurs clean sheets. Firmino, he's been getting Firmino's.
He's had Tom Heaton on the bench all this time, though.
So Tom Heaton on the bench, but Lloris has been coming in for him.
Yeah, 6 clean sheets, yeah.
And it's possible because of the team here. So he's had Allen as well. So he got all of Allen's scores, but he's had Redmond on the bench as well. So clearly Redmond's come in the odd time as well.
He started with Joe Allen.
Well, yeah, that's a good foresight.
Let's give him started with Joe Allen.
Fair enough.
But the real success there is just getting Costa in game week 1, putting the captaincy on him, and then just going on holiday for 9 months.
So how did you find this fella?
I think it was Torres Magic on our site posted up a link. Someone was talking about hits, I think, and he just said, posted
we saw it last year. It was about this time. I can't remember the lady's name, but
Sharon.
Sharon. Yeah, we started this, didn't we? And then there was a lot of controversy about us mentioning her on the Scoutcast. But she had Vardy captain, do you remember, every week, and she didn't make a transfer, and she was in the top 10, I think, wasn't she?
Yeah,
she was really high. Yeah.
And then she fell away after we put the curse on her. Basically.
I mean, eventually Connor Kelly will fall away. But
he'll probably beat us still, won't he?
But of course he will. Yeah, but it's an amazing.
I hope not, but maybe he will.
It's an amazing. Well, it depends. It depends when the double game week comes. So if the double game weeks involve Chelsea and he's kept the captain Costa and he's got Hazard and Kane,
he's not playing chips, is he?
He won't be playing the chips. Well, it'd be interesting to keep tabs on him. And,
maybe he'll come alive in the new year. Maybe he'll get back behind the.
I'm hoping with this added bit of exposure, someone who knows
will revive him. Yeah,
can say, Connor, wake up, mate. You got a team going here that's doing really well, and you got quite a few chips to go. So maybe.
Yeah. Well, there you go. It's bizarre how this happens though. Season upon season, you can pick a team in game one, leave it alone. It makes me think, why are we doing this?
Why are we bothering? Yeah.
No. Yeah. Let's not dwell on that. Let's skirt over the
show there, right? And we'll just have their teams.
I'm suitably depressed now. Thanks.
Yeah, let's spend the next 25 minutes dwelling on apparently our big mistake, Sanchez. Let's talk about this. John T, roll on. Over to you.
Right, FPL Virgin amongst others.
A newcomer to the Scoutcast.
A newcomer, someone who barely questions us but does now. Says, did the Scoutcast guys get it wrong on Sanchez? So this is to remind the viewers and listeners, this is for both game week 11 when we looked at removing him for Hazard, and again last week when Mark and Granville said that Walcott would be good enough cover. Myself and Andy doubted that.
Did we categorically say that?
You did, and then, but me and Andy doubted that, and then because this makes us worse. And then we got Walcott in, so that's how stupid we are. at least you actually believed it. So anyway, so Rhinos is thinking about Sanchez. So obviously everyone's trying to get Sanchez in. I believe about 250,000 UFPL managers, probably including 3 of us, because as
of course, I've backpedaled like a demon.
Yeah. Do we need to stop and think before getting in? Is that his fixtures aren't the best, and like Hazard, who had a couple of bad fixtures.
I mean, the difference now, and we said this before we went on there. The difference now is the Sergio Aguero situation. Back in game week 11, and I blame the fact that Jonty and I both watched the Everton Chelsea game, and after that Everton Chelsea game, I wrote the knee-jerk article Saturday night. And I basically said, what do we do now? Because it looks like Hazard has played his way into our teams. It looks like we can't go on without this player. He looks absolutely sensational. That was his 4th consecutive match that he'd scored in, and he scored 2 goals in it, and he tore Everton apart. Plus the fact, we've mentioned he was on pens and he was taking set pieces, and he was just part of a Chelsea team that looked incredible. Not much has changed, I don't think, with Hazard. Yes, he's only got 1 goal in the next 3, but he played very well at City, and he's now got an incredible run of fixtures. And we got him in game week 12, or I got him in game week 12 for 0.4 less than I would be able to get him now. To be honest, I thought by now he would have gone up more than that. The reason why he didn't go up more than that, I guess, is because of the Coutinho injury, which put money into the mid-price market rather than Hazard, perhaps. I don't know. I can't really explain why he hasn't gone up more. I expected to be around 0.6 more, to be honest, at this point. But he's available for 0.4. And of course, Aguero's injured now. So getting Hazard is simple. So basically, in hindsight, had we known Aguero was going to be injured by game week 15, we no need to have got Hazard in game week 12, because we could have gone, let's just leave Sanchez, whoever, in our teams, and we'll get Hazard when we need him in 3 game weeks' time, and we'll gamble that Hazard's got tougher fixtures and he won't deliver. But back in game week 12, we didn't know that. We didn't know, and we felt that, or I certainly felt that I had to make, in order to get Hazard in, I had to lose one of Sanchez or Aguero. And I thought Aguero was going to be with us forever. I was shocked that he got suspended the first time. No way we could have seen this. And we have to presume Aguero was going to keep scoring. Sanchez, was he going to keep doing what he was doing? He was doing a brilliant job for me, but I had Walcott in there. And I looked at the stats at the time, and Walcott was comparing well. I looked at Giroud, and he was scoring goals off the bench, and he was threatening to move Sanchez out to the left flank. And then a week later, it turns out Sanchez had a heavily strapped thigh, and there was fitness issues, and Wenger was talking or discussing about resting him over the winter break. It looked, for all the world, like getting rid of Sanchez was a sacrifice worth making in order to get Hazard in. And now, 3 weeks later, we know that that was an error because the goals have come in. We couldn't have predicted 5 goals over that spell. Very difficult. Very, very difficult. I mean, had Giroud been fit, he may have played one of those matches and he wouldn't have got a goal, or he wouldn't have got a couple of goals or a hat-trick. You just don't know. But it happened, and these things happen. That is what fantasy football is about. And the Aguero now Aguero's banned, there's no excuse for not getting Sanchez. It makes it not easy, but it makes it more straightforward to get him in. We're not in a situation where we have to sell Hazard to get him. That would be uncomfortable. I've changed my team up to get him in, but I'm happy with what I've got. It's just one of those things. That's it for me, really, on the subject. John T, have you got views on it?
Well, no, I mean, I echo those views about the game week 11 move. You're looking at Aguero in a side. Someone with me, I've got a lower team value than you, so it was even more important for me to try and pick the best premium players. And I can't have them all. Hazard price was going up, and it has gone up significantly, I think, for me, my price range, and he's going to go up again this week as well, and over the next few weeks he's going to go up even more. So I don't think it was hindsight's a marvellous thing. All of those things you mentioned have conspired to mean Sanchez as keeping him would have been the better pick. But if I'd had Sanchez, I might not have had Kane this week. Obviously Sanchez would have covered those points, but Kane was a player I wanted as well. But I think there was a mistake last week thinking that Walcott is ample cover for Sanchez. That is clearly not the case.
No, we said that. I remember saying when I had Sanchez and Walcott originally, I said there were levels, isn't there? Sanchez is the top level, Walcott, and then Ozil.
But I think it was
not worked out.
Kind of partly blinded by the kind of coverage feel of I must have an Arsenal asset.
Walcott, in my view, has been quite poor the last few games. I watched him against United, and he was just completely anonymous. And he was against Bournemouth as well. So he came out with that header, but the rest of the game he was doing nothing. So
and I think the thing is there were simply better off options for around about $1 million more. Ericsson, Ali. I personally didn't want to double up on Spurs, so I'm not going to even pretend I was going to get them in. I know some people will say, I was definitely going to get them in, but I can't because I wasn't going to get them in. But they are good options for those who wanted to double up with Kane. Firmino as well was still bubbling under, and Mane as well is still a great option, a little bit more as well. But as said, look at Walcott's stats. Last 4 matches, how many shots on target? 1. How many chances created? 1. I mean, it's not like he hasn't played. He's played all 4 of those.
We're
Sanchez,
forgetting
15 chances created.
Don't forget the coffee machine, John T. I mean,
this must be a rubbish.
You've got to take it seriously. He's got to get that. He needs one more goal to get an espresso machine. If he doesn't get that goal, he's not going to get his coffee machine.
I mean, I wonder, basically, what has Mrs. Sanchez promised Alexis? If Walcott is, trying to score goals with a coffee machine, Sanchez is piling these goals away, then he must have one hell of a present waiting for him.
I don't want to speculate on what that is.
No, I mean, he's really going for it. Put it that way. So.
The thing is, I easily, right? I don't know. I'm not writing Walcott. I mean, basically, I've made my transfers this week to keep Walcott in because he's got Stoke at home. I don't. He's not at 7.5. I got him for 7.5. I can't let a 7.5 Walcott who's playing every week out of my team. I can't. He's capable of scoring goals. There's no when he plays, he scores goals. It's like the Iheanacho factor. When he plays, he scores goals. He's on a
not recently though.
He's played the last 4 games and he scored 1 goal. In fact, he's had 1 shot on target, 1 goal. But I have a feeling Theo Walcott's going to be like your Jason Punchin. We're going to need to get a little wobbly head Theo Walcott.
No, I don't see it. I'm going to give him another. I'll give him the Stoke game. Let's see if he's terrible in that and he goes off after the hour. Then I might get rid. But I think he's a danger. I mean, a 7. If he was like 8.5, 9.5, yeah, absolutely. I think. But 7.5.
I think it's fair to keep him for Stoke at home, but I just think long term, if he keeps this up, it's just not worth it. He's only scored 1 in the last 5.
But he won't keep it up.
I think there's better options. If people I think Sigurdsson, he's a better option. Ali, Ericsson, better options.
Matt Phillips,
Emery Chan.
And we're going to come to some
keep
Liverpool.
plugging your names like Chaz.
I know.
Yeah.
Andy, what's your views on this Sanchez situation? Then come on, tell us how wrong we are.
I mean, I wish I'd listened back because I'm not sure I said it was a good idea to get rid because I never had him. You see?
No, you're in this with us. So
I don't know. But I never had him at the time. A couple of weeks before everyone got Hazard in, I had Walcott, who did outscore him for the couple of games I had. He was doing well back then. But like you, Hazard was rising in price. My team value was awful, and the reason I got him in was almost as. I think everyone already knows by now, I've got Sanchez in this week. And one of the reasons I've done it now, even though the fixtures necessarily aren't great, was the same reason for Hazard, is his price is rising. And I'm just not going to be able to afford him if I 100% want him from Boxing Day onwards because the fixtures are great. So obviously it was a mistake not having him last week. I even said on the Scoutcast last week I was considering him. I was telling people who had Sanchez and Kane that Sanchez might even be the better captain option. And then I got Walcott. So yeah, I made a mistake there. Did we make a mistake in hindsight? Yes, obviously. But I think there was enough reason to get Hazard. And one thing you haven't mentioned, which you did at the time, I think, on the Scoutcast, was it wasn't just Sanchez versus Hazard. It's Hazard plus like 1 million extra.
Yeah, and I got Alonso for 5.9 for that, and I got Coutinho.
Yeah, same here actually.
And Coutinho didn't work out. Again, we couldn't have seen that coming. I thought I was getting a good deal with that. But I got Alonso in, and we've heard as has said he can't afford Alonso because he's gone up to 6.2 now. I got him at 5.9. Had I not got him then, so basically the difference. Hazard and Alonso have gone up 0.7 since game week 12. So, now, of course, with Aguero out of the equation, that wouldn't have been a problem. But I didn't know Aguero was going to be banned by now. If I was sitting here now with Aguero in my team, I couldn't afford Hazard and Alonso. So what would I do now? I would have to lose somebody. I'd have to do something somewhere else. It's just one of those things. It's Aguero I blame. Absolutely. Whenever possible, I try and blame Sergio Aguero from now on. There's no way he has now made it easy in so many ways. Just as Coutinho made it easy to move to Sigurdsson and Kane, Aguero has now opened the door for everyone to go Kane if they didn't before, and he's enabled us to get Sanchez back in, or it should do at least. There's got to be, I've taken a 4p hint and managed it, but we could not have seen Aguero getting banned for the second time in 4 matches. Had we known it, I probably wouldn't have panicked on Hazard, but I just thought at the time after watching him against Everton, this player can score against any team, and if I don't get him before game week 15, he's going to be 0.6 more at least. And I wanted Alonso as well. So that was the reasoning. And I wasn't comfortable losing Sanchez. Of course not. It's like losing Aguero. It was, at that time, it was just one level down from losing Aguero. No one wants to lose a player like Sanchez, but it seemed sensible given what was on offer from the Chelsea players and this point now at game week 15 onwards. So,
just to get this in there though, some of us did realise that getting rid of Aguero was the right thing.
Yeah,
2 weeks ago.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. But
even so, outscored him since.
You could not have seen what has happened now. Obviously, it looks great now getting rid of. And I remember when I got rid of Sanchez the morning after, people were saying, "Oh, you should have got rid of Aguero," And I looked at it again. I thought, yeah, perhaps I should have done, but I think I was affected by the losing Aguero last time and all the talk of me going without Aguero before. I was like, no, I'm gonna stick by him. And of course, there was that West Brom haul that was
he could have had a hat trick against Chelsea. He
played well. Yeah,
I was watching that game thinking, how is he not putting these away?
Yeah. No, he had plenty of chances, and he did. And it's now what we do with Aguero. I don't know if we've got a question on this later, Jonty, but it's how do we approach Aguero from now on? Because we've got 4 weeks without him. In that time, Sanchez is quite capable of cementing his place in our team. And Hazard, Alonso, Costa, Kane, those players aren't going to let us down, I don't think, over these 4 weeks. I think they're too strong. The fixtures are too good. So when Aguero comes back, it's going to be a big problem because I looked at the fixtures, and when Aguero comes back, City are on a great run. What do we do then? Jonty, what's your views on that? I mean, how are you feeling about Aguero now?
I mean, some people who got rid of Aguero, were annoyed because it's like, oh no, everyone's in the same boat as us. They're going to get Kane. They can easily get Kane in. They can easily get Sanchez in, and Hazard and Costa and all the other players that they've got that Aguero teams perhaps couldn't afford lots of. But I'm quite glad he's gone because it's not pleasant not having Aguero in that form. The Burnley game showed what he can do, and he could have scored a lot in the Chelsea game. I mean, I got rid of him because I didn't think they were overly great fixtures, but I was really worried about him travelling to Leicester, and also really worried about how Watford were going to manage to keep him out at home if he was going to play those 2 games. So I was looking at those 2 games coming up thinking, have I made the right decision? Luckily, he's decided to go kung fu fighting and has taken that fear away. But yeah, I'm not going to plan to get Aguero back in. I want to get Aguero back in, I think, at that particular time, but I'm not going to plan it.
We've got wildcards, haven't we? So there's no need.
Well, I'm not going to use my wildcard for that because wildcards should be used for double game weeks, I think. But I'm going to worry about them because, as we've seen, we don't know what's going to happen. It's cold during December when they play. Injuries might rack up. We've already seen Coutinho and Aguero have given people a route to getting key Chelsea assets and Sanchez. When people in game week 18, 19, when I'm thinking about getting Aguero back in, I don't know who's going to get injured. So I'm not going to start planning now. I'm not going to start ripping my team apart thinking about Aguero until I have to. And then I've been taking loads of hits this season. I don't have a worry about taking hits to get him back in because I think he's worth it.
Okay, Chaz, can you trust Aguero again after 7 matches suspension? Right? Are we looking at a different player now?
I think you've talked about it before, but he's playing a different kind. I mean, he's still brilliant, but he's tracking back more, and he's still such a threat. But I thought it for a while. I just think De Bruyne's a better option than him. And I've been wanting to make the switch. I've been thinking it for a while, with getting Aguero out, bringing De Bruyne in, going 5 in midfield. But I haven't. And now I've got the chance to, and now I'm bottling that as well. So, I don't know. I don't think I'll be bringing him back in.
You don't?
I think he's too expensive. City just don't look right at the moment. And I think it would take a couple of big game weeks from him for me to consider him again.
De Bruyne, there's a lot of talk of De Bruyne doing better, perhaps, without Aguero there, as in he could play the false 9. What's your view on that, Chaz?
Yeah, I think he's one of those players. What I like about some players is that whenever you get an update on your phone or you're watching Match of the Day or something, you hear City have scored and you think Aguero, De Bruyne. They're the 2 players you automatically go to. With Aguero out, De Bruyne is that player now, and he's so crucial now if they're going to challenge for the title. He's got to step it up, and he's got to start scoring more. His miss against Chelsea.
Oh, ridiculous! That's Rosenthal proportions, wasn't it?
I couldn't believe it. But I think if he's playing in the false 9, he's going to get more chances like that. He's on all the set pieces. He's playing for an attacking team. He's gonna get a lot of goals, I think.
Okay, Andy. One word: Iheanacho. If Granville was here, he'd be talking about that a lot. I mean, what's your views now on him? 4 game weeks, he's going to get a run, isn't he? Surely.
If he starts, he scores. There's not really it doesn't feel like there's much else. I looked at his minutes and bearing in mind that he sporadically played 15 minutes here and there, 12 minutes, 17, whatever. He still scored a goal every 100 minutes already for City this year. It's only 3 goals. He's only played 300 minutes of football. So I had him for one of the games in the last 2 that he played, and he did well. And I think he's a great option, to be honest. I think a couple of weeks ago when I got rid of Aguero, and then I started to regret it a bit because I didn't think the fixtures were probably as bad as I first thought they were, or at least convinced myself they were. So I think he's a great option. I think he's probably going to play. I think didn't Pep say a couple of weeks ago, I play with one striker, Aguero is my man. It's unfortunate, basically, that Iheanacho doesn't get to play. So I think he's going to carry on with it. I don't know if De Bruyne is suddenly going to come in and start playing false 9 again.
I mean, this brings us to a question, doesn't it, on third strikers, John T. We'll skip to that one now, shall we, and talk about that?
Yeah, certainly, yeah. So BB8 asks Iheanacho or Origi. So he's looking at Liverpool's kind of emerging cheaper striker as well. Which one would be recommend? And Mike Harborough, another regular questioner of us, reminds us of the threat of Charlie Austin, Christian Benteke, and of course Jermaine Defoe, probably the best of them all. And then Anish28 reminds us of someone else, Andy Carroll.
Yeah,
who was my Fantasy Island risk last week, who actually did score in amongst all those Arsenal goals.
Was he your Fantasy Island? Blimey,
he was, yeah.
You're one of
He's doing well on that.
Yeah, unbelievable.
But is he a good third strike option? And the reason he says that, game week 16 onwards, he's got Burnley and Hull at home, Swansea away, and then Leicester away. Wow, if Andy Carroll can stay fit, then there's definitely goals in those games. So
it's a big if.
Yeah. I mean, I had a look at Rate My Team. Obviously, it's for members of the site, so I don't want to reveal too much about it. But I was looking at the types of strikers that the Rate My Team computer thinks are the best over the next 6. And of course, Christian Benteke does come out top particularly well because he's got Hull this weekend. There's Charlie Austin. There's all the names you would think there. Troy Deeney is there though because the fixtures are good, but his form is absolutely woeful. So
yeah, and the reason why Deeney is there is because there's no Ighalo in there. So it's looking at well, if Watford are going to score, Deeney's the only source of goal.
That sometimes might indicate that if he's got one or the other, if one of them changes, he could become the option. So I possibly wouldn't be removing Troy Deeney this weekend, but if he doesn't do it this weekend, it's probably time to cut our losses on him. But of course, Defoe is there in that list as well, and Iheanacho as well is definitely there. So I think they're all really good options. I think all of them have the fixtures, and in most cases, apart from Troy Deeney, the form to do well. Which one is going to? I think they're all going to get the odd goal, really. I think, and as Benteke has shown with Defoe, they're pretty much matching each other the last couple of weeks, not long term. So I think, I think go with. It's a nice luxury. Whichever one's your favourite, just go with them. I think all of them.
See, I haven't got a third striker anymore.
No. Well, you have. You've got Anichebe, I understand.
Yeah, so I'm going 3-5-2. I'm doing what Chaz is too scared to do. I'm
impressed. I'm impressed.
You've got him in as essentially to go on your bench. I think Anichebe is actually too good.
Yeah, I think you're going to be. Lie, do they? I know.
I'm going to mention Jason Puncheon again because Jason Puncheon let me down this season. But a couple of seasons ago, I had him as my bench fodder. And regularly, I was looking at huge points hauls on my bench. I'd be benching Walcott if I were you.
No one can deal with him, can they? I watched the Leicester players. It was just he's out muscling every defender. Fuchs, Morgan. No one could get a handle on him, and he's been doing that for quite a few games.
He's a specimen. There's no doubt about it, and he's playing really well. And he's played 4 Premier League games. Started 4 Premier League games for the first time in his career, I think. He's never gone 4 consecutive Premier League games starting, and his stats are incredible. I looked at him and thought, well, Capoue or Anichebe, who's better off the bench? It's got to be Anichebe, and he's cheaper. He was cheaper than Capoue. I got 4.8 for Capoue, 4.7 for Anichebe, and I could bring Sanchez in, and I kept Walcott for the Stoke game. But Walcott is, the route I can go is to downgrade Walcott eventually if he doesn't snap back into form. But I'm worried about Anichebe because he's going to be on my bench away at Swansea, and he could. I
can see a Granny Smith coming when you get his points off the bench.
Yeah.
I mean, because you've got such a strong midfield of players that are going to start. I don't think you. I mean, if I were you, I would play him against Swansea. I'd be benching Walcott because if you look at those, as you said about those stats, Walcott's are diabolical, and Stoke are pretty handy in defence. They're not conceding a lot. Whereas Swansea, they're more porous than the Dover Cliffs.
You are talking me into it, but that would be crazy. I can't keep Walcott, right? The reason why I've gone 3-5-2 is because I didn't want to get Walcott out for the Stoke game because I thought he could burn me. Imagine that. Imagine I miss out on Sanchez the week before, and then I get Sanchez in for Walcott, and then it's Walcott takes his turn. I couldn't leave that door open.
Did you not that's going off the point of third strikers there, but did you not consider Costa? Because I for sure thought that was your transfer. Aguero to Costa just seems so obvious.
I'll tell you why I didn't want Costa.
Because a lot of people have done that.
Yeah, I know, and it was obvious, but I looked at it and thought, if I get Costa in now, I've got to pay 1.3, 1.2 more than people who bought him originally early on, right? So I'm matching their striker, paying $1 million and a bit more, and in one of the next 4 games, he could get suspended. I know it doesn't look likely, but he could do, right? So I thought to myself, well, let me leave it. I'm gambling on the fact that what I'm going to do is probably get 2 Chelsea defenders and try. And I know that obviously the people who own Costa probably can't do that because they'll have Hazard as well. So I'll go with 2 Chelsea defenders and hope they keep clean sheets over this run. I look at Costa and think he hasn't got huge double-figure hauls. He's not going to explode, I don't think. He might well get a hat-trick. He's certainly capable of that. But it's a gamble. Yeah, it would have been the obvious thing to do, but it was either Sanchez or Costa, and I wanted Sanchez more because I obviously regret getting rid, and I just think he has got bigger explosions in him. He has got, if he gets a couple of goals, Costa's got to get 3 or 4, or every goal Sanchez gets, Costa's got to get 2. Because of the way it works with the scoring. So I just felt getting Sanchez in and then perhaps doubling on the Chelsea defence, which I can do and which I probably will do, is the route I'm going to go. Because not many people are going to have 2 Chelsea defenders, and over the next 5, they've got 3 or 4 clean sheets possibly in that lot. So that will do me all right, I think. That was my view on it.
Yeah, fair enough. When I saw you transferred already, I thought Costa was in for sure.
Yeah, I did. Obviously, that was an obvious move, but
he's the one player that I'd want. Costa. He's the one player that I wouldn't even consider switching out at the moment. He is just.
But what price did you get him at though?
Yeah, exactly.
I bought him 2 weeks ago for Lukaku. I think it's 10.2, 10.3, something like that.
Okay.
But he's already smashing it. I mean, you look at his returns since game week 1. It's like 2 games he hasn't got a goal or assist in. You can't get any better than that. I don't think it's.
Yeah, but I mean, I look at Defoe and he's 11 points behind him for 3.8 less, something like that.
True.
So, I mean, to be honest, Kane. I think Kane could outscore Costa for the rest of the season. If they started at 0 now, Kane versus Costa, Kane could outscore Costa. I think.
I'd still back Costa.
Would you against Kane from now on?
I would. Yeah.
Kane always has penalties to fall back on, doesn't he? And
I think he's got the edge. He's cheaper, and I think he's got the edge for goals from this point on. Because I just think Kane is just the focal point. Costa is to an extent for Chelsea, but I think there's more goals around that Chelsea team. But I don't know. It's close.
Well, Costa is going to smash it next week, isn't he?
Yeah, he may well get a hat trick and punish me, but I just think I preferred the Sanchez option. It's sacrifice, isn't it? You can't have everybody. It's like, of course, if you look at any team, they've got one player. You think, but you haven't got that player, and it's like it doesn't mean that manager is going, I don't think that player is any good. It means that manager's gone, well, I can't have them all. It's not like I'm sitting here thinking, Costa's rubbish, I don't want him. I'm sitting here going, well, I can't have him. So, and one of them's got to go. I've got to choose one of them to not be in my team. And I've chosen Costa not to be in my team because, as I've said, I've got Hazard and I'm going to double on the Chelsea defence and hope that is going to make up the gap.
Which other Chelsea defender are you going to get?
Well,
it's got to be Louise, surely.
Yeah, exactly.
He's the fun option. You've already got Alonso. You have to.
Yeah.
The guy that takes free kicks, he's just.
I'm
he's so
going
much better this year. He's the main man, isn't he?
I'm going to go David Luiz because I just think that he's got 3 or 4 goals in him and they haven't come yet. And so, fear me with my David Luiz pick.
I really like
card
that.
is just around the corner. I mean, third strikers. I mean, at the moment it's Defoe. Austin. I don't know about Austin though.
Do any of you own him? Is it just me?
Who, Austin?
Austin, no.
Yeah, I've got him.
Because I don't know about you. I'm really worried about his minutes because he's been managed through, like for Europe and stuff. Obviously, Long and whoever's been playing. There's not too many of my players I'm worried about rotation because I just think most of them are in the same boat. But Austin, I'm actually quite worried about.
I'm this close to getting rid.
Yeah, I'm either looking at Iheanacho in for a hit for him this week, or I'm actually going to get rid maybe next week and get Andy Carroll. I've actually written on my notes, West Ham are rubbish, but so are Burnley and Hull. So that's kind of my thing. Just getting into
Andy
the
Carroll,
fixtures.
you've got to think Payet to Carroll, right? There's 2 things here. I've said this in this much we know. Carroll obviously can feed off Payet's service like Antonio did. There's no better header in the game in the Premier League than Andy Carroll. And also, Carroll wins loads of free kicks around the box, and that's perfect for Payet. So if you're looking for 2 differentials in a couple of game weeks' time, I'd look at those 2. I think Payet will be the next one, I think, to make us go, maybe we should get Payet. Not yet, but a while soon, I think.
Yeah, the problem with Andy Carroll is that myself included got burnt by him last year, the triple captain in the double game week, getting 3 points. So that kind of puts a lot of people.
I know a lot of people who feel like that.
Yeah.
37, game week 37 or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Let's not talk about it any longer.
Keep it all.
It was awful.
I know there's someone listening out there who won't thank us for reminding them about that. but yeah, no, it's a shocker. Okay, let's talk about price rises, Jonty, because they're to blame. They're to blame, aren't they?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, a lot of people think. I mean, I'm not sure whether the algorithm has changed, but it does seem to be a bigger factor. So, Povegalia asks, what is happening to price rises this season? Have they gone stupid? How essential is good selling value for the second wild cards? And Television says, with Aguero possibly dropping 0.3 and Sanchez like to rise 0.3 before Saturday's games, which is possible, is it now better to make transfers? This is an example, sooner rather than later. So traditionally, people would probably wait until their Friday afternoon at work or Saturday morning. You can't do that now because by the time you've thought about it, the player's gone up 0.3 and the player you want to ditch has gone down 0.3. You're 0.6 down. Then Hans Gruber put up a hot topic on the site saying about, he just calls it, frankly, ridiculous sensitivity of prices. And it gives the example of Sanchez. Lots of people like ourselves got him in early to catch those price rises. There were risks there. He was playing last night. I watched the game. I was pretty scared. Didn't need to in the end because he was walking most of the way through it. But it is an issue. So, I mean, for me, I don't like it, but I accept it is part of the game. But my problem with this season, I don't think they've changed the algorithm. I think it's that we have so many more players doing so well, and getting like a huge hauls like Sanchez's, that it's just a very volatile market. And you've still got there's probably about a quarter of dead teams now, but there's still millions of people making moves every week, and so they're just doing that. And it's the problem I find this season, because of the wide choice of players, is that it's no longer part of the game. It now is the game. And you said about players, I've got to get that player in before his price goes up. How many times have we said that this season?
A lot,
so,
yeah.
I get Sanchez in because he got a huge haul last week, and I think he's going to get huge points hauls in the coming weeks? Or was I actually more influenced by the fact that he was going to go up in price? If I did want him in 3 or 4 game weeks time, would it be too expensive? I know getting Hazard in part of that motivation.
Well, exactly.
And that's what I don't know. It's my fault in a way. I'm doing that, but if I don't do that, I'll look at some of the other teams that are around me in my ranking, and they've got a team value of say 99 because they haven't been making those moves. So they've got a team value. I mean, my team value is about 103 million, which is pretty low compared to others. But other people I'm looking at have got team value of 98, 99, and they've lost out basically because they haven't made those moves. So I've tried to make those moves. It's been costly sometimes, it hasn't others. And I don't like the fact that it's become the game this season. I want it to go back to being part of the game.
Well, the thing is, last season we had Mahrez and Vardy and Ali, right? So they were such critical players who were scoring heavily every week, and it left us with a load of money that we could spend elsewhere. And so we didn't have this necessity to switch heavy hitters in and out all the time with explosive form. We predicted it, to be fair. I think early on in the Scoutcast, we said this season, this is going to be about taking risks with heavy hitters and choosing when to jump off one and onto another. We had it early on with Zlatan. I was very anti-Zlatan. Then he exploded. He had that game against Southampton where he looked fantastic because Pogba came in, and all of a sudden I had to change my mind again. Then he went on that slump and he's out again. You know, we had it with Aguero. We had to get him out and then back in again. We've had it with Coutinho. Yeah, basically the heavy hitters have taken it in turns to shine, and then there's a big shift in the market over to them, and it means getting rid of another heavy hitter because we don't have Mahrez, we don't have Ali, we don't have Vardy. It's big money for big money all the time, and it was the case with Sanchez to Hazard. A lot of people did it. And now they're going back. Luckily, Aguero has injected some funds into the market, and we've all got the ability now to get some big hitters in. It might calm down a bit because of that, but as soon as Aguero's back in the game, it's going to happen again, isn't it? So, yeah, form always fluctuates, but the prices, I don't think, fluctuated as fiercely as they have been this season. I don't know I don't know. The algorithm remains a mystery. I've never really wanted to delve into it because I know that it's volatile and it's never set in stone. If it was, they would print the rules and they would explain it. But then again, they don't want to explain it, I don't think, because it comes across as really hardcore, and it is really hardcore. If you look at the explanation of how the algorithm works on some of the third-party sites who have really done well picking it apart and publishing it, you read it and you go, wow, my head's exploding. So there's no way the Premier League are going to go, and here's how the price rises work, because people will read that and go, I don't want to play this game. Look at this. So they're never going to explain it, and I don't think it is static. I think it does change. I don't know how, but I do think if you look at the way Hazard and Coutinho have gone down so quickly, I don't know whether that's linked into their percentage ownership, but for me, they've gone down quicker than players have done in the past. But I'm only speculating. I can never know.
Coutinho went down 0.1 a day for 3 days.
Yeah.
But what I didn't like is players like me. So this is my fault for not adapting to this season. But this has been a key thing. So I like to have a look at the stats. Oh, who should I get in? And wait a minute, Coutinho's gone down 0.3 before I've even been able to make that move. I haven't got that luxury. You've got to make a quick move on Saturday or Sunday morning, and I don't like that about this season.
Well, you don't have to, but we're driven to do it, aren't we? I mean, part of it is we've got the knowledge to make those decisions because we know when the rises and falls are going to happen, or we've got a very good idea thanks to those.
Well, this is it.
People who put those lists together.
I don't really want the algorithm explained to me. I just want to be able to see whenever I want who is going to go up and who's going to go down on a given day. That's what I think is the one thing missing from fantasy football. All this secrecy around the price rises. I can't believe they haven't addressed it. yeah, it just seems weird.
Well, I think basically they want to reserve the right for it to be changed. So the minute they publish the price rises or the next, I don't know. It's hard to explain, but I think they want to reserve the right to go, or actually, let's tweak the algorithm this week, or let's tweak it this season, or actually this. I mean, I don't think it's possible for a player to go down more than 0.3, but I don't know for sure. And no, I think they want to reserve the right. Well, there's nowhere is it written on the Premier League site to say a player can't go down more than 0.3. We've never seen it, but I think they want to reserve the right to make that happen. And so that's the only explanation I've got as to why they're not keen in explaining it, or not keen on showing officially players going up or down. I mean, many seasons ago, I raised it as a problem for the hardcore players. And maybe the amount of hardcore players is increasing now, and so it's becoming more of a problem.
But maybe
that's our fault. Maybe we should be apologising for that as well.
Yeah, there's much more visibility now, isn't there, and engagement. You've got the official FPL Twitter that's given out when players fall, and it might not necessarily give advance warning, but then it gives acknowledgement to those owners that they're falling in price, and maybe they should look at it. So I think there's more players and they're more engaged. Some people were actually talking about on the site this week, and one of them, what they said was about making it more visible. But the other two kind of ideas which would be good to get your thoughts on were only one change a week, so you can only go up or down by 0.1 a week, or that the prices accumulate over the week.
I like this one. I saw this
one. Was, I think, I should have written this down. I think it was Num that came up with this.
Yeah.
I'll go with that. He said, Coutinho would have gone down 0.3 in a week, but it doesn't happen till Friday. So everyone can see that he's going to go down 0.3, and then you make your decision based on all the info you have for the week.
I really like that. I don't. Why wouldn't we do that? I don't know. I do like that. I like that idea, because then you go, okay, well, I've got till then to make my decision, and also you're not rushed into making transfers before injury news or European matches, and that for me would enhance the game. And I'm definitely going to lobby for that. I think it's a good one.
I think it's a brilliant idea.
Yeah. If you look at some other formats as well, so for example, the Champions League games, they will have a price change after each stage. So after a particular group stage, so you could perhaps do something like that once a week, once a month. There was ESPN ran a game last year that basically recalibrated the prices in mid-season. So around about from January the 1st, new prices came in. So if you already had those players in your team and they rocketed like a Mahrez, you're laughing. And so that was another way of playing the game as well. But as I said, whatever solution they come up with that makes it a nice add-on to the game, but not the focus of the game, and that's the problem I have with it.
It's only the focus of the game for us because we know the ins and outs of it.
It's the focus for everyone because
we're exposed to it, but the non-hardcore player perhaps isn't. But then I can't imagine if we had a non-hardcore player amongst us, which is probably never going to happen, then I don't imagine they'll be anything but frustrated either, going, well, I don't know how they work.
But who are all these non-hardcore players who on a Saturday night after watching Match of the Day are making their transfers? That sounds pretty hardcore to me. They sound like they're hardly casual.
Do you think there's no... I think everyone's hardcore now.
I'm so casual. I'm just gonna spend my Saturday night pushing Coutinho's price down 0.3 million.
No, they do, though. I think they do. I think a lot of people... I mean, I don't know. I can't explain it.
They are hardcore. These are the hardcore people. These are the ones who, maybe we should all collectively make a pact not to make any transfers before Friday. It might break the game. It'd be like going on strike.
We ought to move on, but this one's going to run and run, and I want to get more feedback on this because I think it's a great subject. It's one that I've had bugbears with for many seasons, and I haven't got a great deal of problem with it this year, but I do acknowledge that it is very volatile, and it has pushed me into making transfers. I'm accepting the blame for those transfers. I'm not blaming the prices, but I've got to admit, like Jonty says, I think it is more of a factor. I'm not going to the extremes that Jonty said. I don't think it is the game this year, but I do think it's a bigger factor because of the nature of the heavy hitters and their swapping form all the time, and we're chasing our tail. It was something we said a few weeks ago.
You say it's not the game, but let's see what you can do when you've been playing the market and you've got a good team value. And
You're going to talk about super teams.
This is super teams, Titans. So FPL Virgin asked, should we fear the rise of the super teams? So who are these super teams? So what
who are they?
We did a hot topic discussion on the site earlier this week because it was noticed with Aguero out, suddenly there was a fear of a template emerging. No such fear. About 20 names mentioned. So everyone's still got different teams, but there is super teams emerging. These are people who can afford Kane and Costa, Sanchez and Hazard, and Firmino, and Sigurdsson, possibly Ibrahimovic as well. That's pushing it. Plus having Alonso there.
I tell you what, John T, have you seen Torres Magic's team?
Yeah, he's a super team. Now, he's got a great team value. I believe his team value is somewhere around, he'll probably correct me tomorrow, but it's somewhere over 105 million, I believe. And he has got an amazing team there. He's got a super team. So he's basically got all those players. And then there's some other ones around. So, for example, the team that I've got is similar to that, but it's not a super team. I've got Costa in. I like him, but I haven't got Firmino now. So I've had to downgrade him and go. So for example, with you, Mark, you've got, I think Anachibi's a good purchase there, but you haven't got Costa in, and you've looked at, ideally, in an ideal world, you'd have a better, perhaps a more consistent striker.
Yeah, my team value is 106.3 million.
Yours is 106.
I still can't afford
Costa. And you still can't afford it because you didn't get but if you'd have got Costa in game week 1, and these are the super teams we're mentioning, and I think we should be fearful of them because they've got that core of about 5 or 6 amazing players, expensive players, and they can chop and change the little ones. So we're talking about, who should we get? Iheanacho, Andy Carroll. They can just make.
But haven't they earned the right for that?
No. I'm not saying, oh my God, fear these horrible people. These guys are amazing. These guys and girls who are getting using their value and creating these super teams. Have they earned it? You bet you they have.
How many are there?
They've mastered these price changes, and they've created this super team, and they're going to storm this season. I'm envious of them, but I don't begrudge them that. I think congratulations.
Chaz, you were saying?
I was just saying, how many of them are there? Because there can't be that many with team values over 106, 107, surely.
It's not really. The problem with this is it's not really team value you necessarily need to worry about. It's a selling value because you don't know when they got certain players.
True.
But like looking at Torres Magic team, it's 105 million, so it's less than Mark. But he's already got Sanchez and Hazard and Sigurdsson and Firmino and Aguero. So if he gets rid of Aguero for Costa, he can then upgrade the defence as well. So he's
which he's going to do. Of course, he's already done.
Of course he is. Yeah.
So I look at Torres Magic's team and go, well, he's just going to creep away from me week after week after week, and until there's something to change the landscape massively again, which is happening every other week by the looks of it, so that's all right, we're never going to catch him. So he's in the top 1,000. Fair play to him. He's done, I don't know what it is he's done. Probably it's getting on Costa early, which means that he's the one player who's gone up massively in value, but he's just played it really well, and so he's got the rewards for being a good fantasy manager. So I think that's fair enough. It's my job to try and catch him.
But that's exactly but for the rest of us who are trying to catch these super teams, we have to be more savvy with our differentials. So, for example, the last week, Benteke did me well, and there'll be a few with them in. Sigurdsson at the moment is still a differential. There might be others that don't. So some super teams without Sigurdsson, but we've got to be really savvy with our differentials. But it doesn't. For me, because my rank's so poor, I'm not competing with these guys. But if I was in around where you are, top 100,000 or so, I would be fearing them because their team is simply better by at least one player.
Yeah, but I look at it and go, well, there's a long way to go, and there's the chips, and there's double game weeks, and they can make a massive difference. Like Torres Magic could be 100 points ahead of me, but I could still think, if I play the chips right, I can get 50 points of those back. It's happened. I've done it before. When I came 42nd, I had a massive surge at the end. I had a few differentials. I got a Mane hat-trick, just a bit of luck, and I pushed on. I remember Green Wimmer was like 100 points ahead of me, and I caught him up and beat him. And it can happen. I'm not writing it off, but I look at Torres Magic's team, and I go, I'm never going to catch that. I can't catch that because he's got all the players that I want. He's always going to have one more better player than me. And but I can't think like that. I've got to think, this season has shifted so much already that it could shift again, and then we could catch it. You can use your captaincy as well. Like the one thing about the fact that all the heavy hitters are doing well, and you look at Torres Magic's team, you think he's got a lot of choice there when it comes to the captaincy. If I pick a different captain and it comes in for a couple of weeks, I can catch up. So there's plenty there to play for, and thank God there is. But it's I think it's a factor. I think it's but I think it's there every season, but maybe more so this time round. Not so sure.
These expensive players can go off the boil as well, though. So I mean, I think of myself as quite a savvy manager, so I think I can work around this kind of thing. Captaincy, like you say, there's some differentials knocking around in defence, midfield, and strikers now, which is great. So yeah, I'm not scared of them. Bring them on.
Nothing to be scared of. Firmino is one of those players who could go off the boil.
Exactly.
That's quite interesting. We're going to talk about Firmino. Is it Firmino or Firmino? There we go.
Yes. Mike Harborough says, is Firmino worth having, looking at his performance against Bournemouth and, of course, his recent performances as well. And also mentions Emre Can. And Prata reminds us about Mane, as if we didn't need reminding against Bournemouth. And then, of course, Origi there, who we've already mentioned. This is time for goals imminent, okay? Goals imminent is basically...
Is there ever a time?
But it's been doing so well recently. They've either scored and leapt off it, or their stats have gone. Firmino's there, still there, clinging on top. So it's just him and Rondon basically, because Watmore's out for the season. Him and Rondon, they're the goals imminent, and he's got West Ham next. He's never gone more than 3 games without blanking this season. He's I have accepted that he will score, and I will miss those points this week. And I fully went into removing Firmino in that knowledge. So this will not come as a surprise to me. And I will do everything I can across Sky and FanDuel to make sure I've got Firmino well covered. And I'll be earning money from his moves, from his inevitable goals.
I think it's a gamble going without him for West Ham. I do. But yeah. I worry about him. I look at him and he is, like Walcott, he's on the brink for me. They've probably got a couple of games left before I change that up, because there are options, like Chaz said.
So for me as well, I've got Sanchez and Costa in this week. So I think to myself, do I want Firmino or do I want the opportunity to have Sanchez and Costa? Well, Firmino may score more than them this week, but I'm happy with Costa and Sanchez.
I thought for a minute there you were going to say, I've got Costa and Sanchez in, so I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I really thought you were going to say that.
And
in your best impression.
But I've also got Emre Can in, and so that's why I'm...
Have you really?
I'm below the super teams. So I've gone... So you've got to be...
So I've gone Anichi, but you've done Can. Okay, interesting.
Yeah. Okay. Because ultimately, I've got Capu as well, and I want Can to become my Capu and become my much better 5th midfielder, but I'm happy to play him as a 4th at the moment.
Nice fierce punching all over again. Andy,
and then I can upgrade for Capu.
Liverpool midfield. Have you still got Firmino?
Well, not to sound too boring, but I also now have Emre Can and not Firmino. I've actually done exactly this. Well, not exactly the same moves, but yeah, Firmino. It is a risk. Like if he's playing out on the left, which I'm hoping, then perhaps he's not going to be as effective. He doesn't seem to have been as effective.
Hold on, though. We keep saying that he's more effective out there. Now we're saying he's not effective out there.
Well, the other thing I was going to bring up actually is, now that Lallana's back, is there any chance that he just goes into the front 3, Firmino moves centre, and Wijnaldum just carries on playing, and Origi doesn't get a start?
No, he likes Origi, Klopp, I think.
He also likes Firmino quite a lot, doesn't he? Moving back into the centre and let him start scoring again. I know, but I've got Reid, and I like Jonty. I know that's a big risk, but I've got low team value. I'm going to get priced out of Sanchez.
So just get this clear. Andy and Jonty are telling the world to get rid of Firmino. Get ready to apologise for that.
Emre Can is the new Sanchez.
Yeah. Well, I'm talking about Can as well in the show, so I like Can a lot. And his stats are good. I'm not surprised that Jonty's gone that way. I am a little bit surprised he's got Capu and Can, but yeah, interesting experiment. Chaz, are you shuddering at the idea of this?
I like Lallana. I've got a bit of a man crush on him, I think.
Yeah, you look like a Lallana type of guy.
I wrote an article for the site a while ago, and I think the day after he got injured and was out for a couple of weeks. Which
did you apologise for that as well?
No, I left that one. I just avoided the site for a bit in case anyone had taken my advice. They're a better team with Lallana. I don't think he's the best fantasy asset in the world, but I like him. I think Chan's a good shout, actually. I'd steer clear for me, though. I mean, his haircut alone should probably put you off. And his teeth. Yeah, so I think Chan, is 4.9 million?
Yeah, I know. I'm looking at it. I'm thinking that's the way to go. If Firmino and Walcott both blank this weekend, I am going to be tempted to do that.
If it's
because
Chan
then
or Capu, Chan or Capu, I don't think there's any choice really.
No. No, fair enough. Interesting stuff. Okay, it's time to do the weekend preview, isn't it, John T? And it's going to be clean sheets and Fantasy Island this time. I've done no preparation, so I'm going to put myself last, and I'm going to come to you, Andy, first of all.
Yeah, would you want first clean sheets?
Clean sheets, I think, yeah.
Chelsea against West Brom.
You're sticking your neck out.
Yeah, I know. Go for the worst defence in the league. But I think they can pull it around and get a clean sheet against West Brom at home, for sure.
Phillips is going to knock one in.
You are mad about the Phillips.
Away from home, I'll never back West Brom.
Depends how early Chelsea score, doesn't it? If Chelsea score early, West Brom have got to at least put one man into their half. So then, we might get something then. But until then, as long as it's 0-0, they'll be on their penalty box and parked up. I don't know. I think you're right though, Alonso. I mean, I'm not going to double on the Chelsea defenders for this one, but I think Alonso is going to get me a point there. I can't see West Brom scoring myself, unless it's set pieces. But Chelsea are pretty strong there as well. So, yeah, good one. Over to you, Chaz.
I'm going to go for Southampton. They're at home to Borough.
Yeah, easy.
I just think they're going to get a real, shouting at after the diabolical defending at Palace. And I'm going to back my man Van Dijk in there again. Might hope he can get a goal as well. Be nice, but. I don't really like Middlesbrough going forward. I don't see anything good.
13 goals in 14 games.
Yes, I think that's quite an obvious one.
John T, pick another obvious one.
Burnley. I think. I'm hoping Tom Heaton is back, in which case I would say definitely a clean sheet. Bournemouth just don't score a lot away from home. That's my.
That's always good when you're looking for a clean sheet.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's a perfect combination. Burnley is strong at home, Bournemouth and not so great away.
Okay, well, I'm going to go. Well, there's Arsenal Stoke, which is the other obvious one, but I think our friend Holebas could still have a clean sheet left in me. Everton are woeful. There's no other way of putting it at the moment. Okay, they scored against United, but I worry. Look, what has happened to Lukaku? What has happened to Everton? They've lost Balassi now, so that's like the one bright spark they've had in recent weeks. Lukaku has regressed even to the depths beyond last season. They just look short of confidence, short of ideas, and Watford in the form that they're in, may hold out for a 1-0 win there, I think. So I'll go Watford, I'm Everton. I think Arsenal in there. Well, a few clean sheets this week, I think. A few clean sheets. Fantasy Island Risk. Come to you again, Andy. Go on.
So this is someone who's definitely not on anyone's radar, but last 2 game weeks, he's only been beaten for shots in the box by Sanchez. Justin Ward-Prowse. No, it's Justin? James Ward-Prowse. James, sorry, Jesus Christ. Should have just stuck with...
Hold on, what
Jesus Christ, Ward-Prowse.
I should have just stuck with the surname.
So hold on, so what's the stat you're rolling?
Unless I read it wrong, he's had 5 shots in the box in the last 2 games, which is only beaten in midfielders by Sanchez with 6. Now,
really?
Other players have got 5 as well. Now, the big key here is, which I didn't want to mention, he's only had 1 of those on target, whereas I think Sanchez has got most of them.
I don't know if Ward-Prowse will even play. I think this is a risk.
He started the last. Well, it's a risk, yeah. It started the last 2. 4 chances created. Isn't he on set pieces as well?
I mean, I'm all for having risks in the Fantasy Island risks, but there's got to be
the clue is in the
there's got to be a threshold where the risk is.
But you remember Mark, do you remember the last time you said that when I said Negredo? You went, "Whoa, that's a risk too far." 2 goals later.
Yeah, but you're on form with these, aren't you? So
yeah,
okay, I'll accept it.
Well, you can't not accept it.
No, too much of a risk for the risks.
Yeah, I know Green Wimwell looks at the ones that aren't a risk. Have we got anyone who looks after the risks that are beyond risk threshold?
He probably looked at that too.
I think you've gone beyond it. Chaz, do you want to try and take that on?
Yeah, well, I'll go for another Southampton man, Boufal.
Yeah,
he's not.
That's more like it.
Yeah, he's 0.1% owned. I think he's looked quite tidy when I've seen him play. He's getting a bit of sharpness. He's got these tricks. He reminds me of Tarat, and I've always had a bit of a soft spot for Tarat. And they're both Moroccan, so...
Oh, Tarat what a player.
I know, I loved him. Brilliant.
Now you're talking. He was a stats machine, wasn't he?
He was awful, but brilliant.
He was basically the midfield Kolarov, wasn't he? He was fantastic stats, never delivered, and I tried to get him in my team as much as I could. But,
me too.
Fantastic. Okay, Boufal. John, to yourself, Fantasy Island.
Well, I'm going to stick with Burnley. Keane. in defence. I think I'm going to get clean sheet points from him.
Yeah.
I also think he's got a goal in him as well.
Yeah, definitely.
He's got very, very strong Fantasy Football Scout members would have a look at attacking defenders tables and
He's top there, isn't he?
look at shots in the box, and they'll be seeing him there. I think I'm hoping I make it 4 in a row there for me.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good pick. I'm going to go Mr. Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, who is going to play, I think, because he didn't play in Europe. He's playing left side. He got a goal and assist at West Ham, and Walcott's not going to get the points. It's going to be all down to the Ox, and then I'm going to have to end up selling Walcott and with my tail between my legs. So I'll go him for my Fancy Island risk. There you go. Let's talk transfers and captains. I will come clean. I've got Victor Anichebe in. It feels wrong. It feels dirty, but I had no choice. I had to get Sanchez in after what he did to me. So I am playing 3-5-2, Victor on the bench, which will probably hurt me. Defoe and Kane up front, but I've got a power 5. I looked at midfielders, shots on target this season. The top 5 are my 5 midfield. So if stats are in it to go by, I'm done. I'm fine. But of course, Walcott and Firmino are going to blank, and so it's never going to work out. But that's what I've done. And captain, I mean, the thing is, I got Sanchez in because I thought I need him in for the captaincy. So I guess I've got to go Sanchez. But I'm wavering. I might go Hazard just to see if I can get some points back on the people who went Sanchez last week. So I'm still wavering. Sanchez at the moment, but that's not set in stone. So that's me. Andy, what you done and what you doing?
Yeah, I already said it. Firmino and Walcott, who I got in last week, shouldn't have done, went against my own advice. He's now gone in a 4-point hit, and I bought in Chan and Sanchez. And like you, I think I might go Hazard too. And when I look at the fixtures, funnily enough, as someone who's so expensive and just scored a hat-trick or 5 goals in 2 games, I don't know if I'm going to captain Sanchez until maybe game week 20. Because if I go Hazard this week, then I got Kane for 2, and then I'm not going to be able to resist Ibra against Sunderland, and I think it's Borough at home. So yeah, I don't think I'm going to captain Sanchez for a good while. And so not only have I got him in, I'm now going to let him punish me by not captaining him.
Well, the thing is as well, we've seen Arsenal frustrate us at the Emirates, haven't we? And we've heard Wenger come out and say we're a different team away from home, and we know that Sanchez has delivered more goals away from home than he has at home. 5 away from home. No, 7. No, what was it? 8 now away from home of his 11 goals. So there's logic there, but I'm just scared of saying, "Oh no, don't captain Sanchez, go with Hazard," because he's already done me in. So it's a very difficult. That's going to go to the wire for me. Let's hear what Chaz is doing.
Well, I've taken Aguero out already for Kane. I did that Saturday night, I think. I could either upgrade Ashley Williams, who I've had since the beginning.
Wow. Okay.
I could get in Alonso for a 4-point hit. Or I could get rid of Walcott, which I really want to do, and get in Hazard. Or maybe De Bruyne. I've kind of almost taught myself into De Bruyne on the Scoutcast now. So it's
amazing how this show can completely...
I know. So, yeah, I don't really know. I'm probably going to do Walcott to Hazard and captain him.
You don't fear Walcott stinging you at all? Do you just dismiss it totally as a possibility that he could score a couple of goals?
I just think he's been rubbish the last few weeks, and I just can't wait to be shot of him. I've been wanting to get shot of him for ages, but I've just had more pressing moves. I saw that United game and I wanted rid. He was awful. I just thought Wenger's not going to put up with this.
To be fair, Arsenal were pretty awful.
Yeah, I was going to say Sanchez was pretty bad in that one as well.
Well, true, but yeah. And then it happened again. Well, Bournemouth as well. I thought he was terrible in Bournemouth, even though he got the goal. So, yeah.
But he was distracted by the...
I know. I put a bet in the score.
I'm cutting too much slack. I know, and I'll be apologising to the world next week again. John T, your captain and your transfers.
Well, I've got Emre Can. I have Diego Costa in, a player I've coveted for a long time. Nice and boring and consistent.
So hold on, take me through your team. So you've got Sanchez, Hazard, Costa now.
Got Sanchez, Hazard, Costa, and Kane. They're my 4 biggies. Yeah. And Sigurdsson, my favourite as well, still. But yeah, so I got got Sanchez and Costa and Sharnin to cover that. And I too will be captaining Hazard. The reason is I was drafting the Scout Squad article, and I was coming up with my picks, and I noticed I was the only one to put Hazard top for those midfielders. And the reason I did that is because Hazard is sensational at home. I think he's got around 60 points. Compared to about 40 for Sanchez. West Brom and Stoke are pretty much of a muchness. I think Chelsea just have stronger home form. And today I found out that Mike Dean is a referee.
I was just going to raise that particular subject.
Now, for those who don't know, he's awarded 9, I believe, penalties.
Yeah.
I'm sure I'll be corrected. 9 penalties this season. So that's the most in the Premier League. Eden Hazard, and for me, and he plays Sunday as well. So I'll be happy with the Sanchez haul on Saturday.
That's my decision made. I'm getting him in.
Oh, so none of us. I can't believe none of us are captaining Sanchez. That's got to be a mistake.
Yeah. I wonder why.
We don't learn, do we? We don't have. We haven't got a clue. What are we doing? We're inviting it again, aren't we? Oh, no, but I know Hazard makes a very strong case, and yeah, it's going to go to the wire for me. Okay, that's the end of the show. I must mention FanDuel. I thought I did pretty well. Get this, I got Munisa in, who scored. I got Cabalassi in for Watford. I don't know how you pronounce that name, but the centre back, he scored as well. I thought those two, what maverick picks! They both scored goals. I thought I was on for some money. I thought I had Eriksen. Had I got Eriksen in, I'd have been fine. But I slipped out the money on Monday night with Ramirez goal. I know that certain members of the community did well in FanDuel this week, though, didn't they? I know that there was a winner with that Ramirez goal. He emailed you, didn't he, John T?
It was, yeah, he did really well.
Didn't he win the top prize?
No, he won I think he was in the top 5 of one of the big leagues. I played a small money league of 10 and came top in there by a clear 40 points. So I got about, I think, £9-10 there, which is nice. But mainly there because I got Eriksen and Sanchez. And so I got nearly 400 points there, and which in FanDuel is quite good.
I got 391, so I think you beat me again. We got a FanDuel League coming up in January, so stay tuned to that. The FanDuel Cup. Let's quickly see if I can see us winning got through. I didn't check before we came on air.
There's sad news.
Has he gone?
There's sad news.
Oh yeah,
but not just that. All of the formal, all of it. So there was going to be a new name on the trophy. So this is exciting.
So who did he lose to? Because that's who we've got to follow from this point on. Let's have a quick look who he lost to. So yeah, a brand new name on the title, which is good in a way, you know. And also, is there any moderators or contributors left in it at all?
Torres Magic, we mentioned him already. He's literally the only one. Andy bowed out this week, unfortunately. But Torres Magic is flying our flag
with his super team.
With his super team. So
yeah, he's going to take some beating. To be fair.
Fear him.
Yeah. So Ali Chef beat Ikazir's winning, and we'll be following Ali Chef in the next round. Let's see who he's got briefly before we go. Maybe he's got Torres Magic. That'd be ironic, wouldn't he? Where's he gone? Yeah, I mean he's got Dilly Dong FC, who is ranked 6,372 in the world. Not to be sneezed at. Silly name, not a silly rank. He's got his work cut out there, but we're following him in the next round. Fascinating stuff. It's good to have a new winner, and it's good that no mods or contributors are going to win it. Maybe Torres Magic will and ruin that, but we'll see. Yes. So yes, thank you very much, Chaz, for joining us. It's been a pleasure to have you on. A fresh face,
it's been good.
suitably hirsute as well, which is good. All got beards, that's good. So fascinating. John T, good to have you on with a new camera. I can't see a difference, to be honest.
No, well, I cannot mind, but I think it might be some kind of internet issue. Hence why internet going down there a bit earlier.
We'll see if you being in high definition makes any difference to the viewing figures. That'll be an interesting thing to correlate that. Andy, thank you very much for joining us. As always, it's a good night from me.
Good night from me.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night all.